college baseball player was shot over the weekend in Texas in uniform, standing in his team's bullpen during a game.
Mm-hmm. You believe this?
Police in Texarkana say there was a shootout on a nearby street Saturday afternoon. One of the stray bullets traveled, they say, around 400 yards and struck I have not seen his name yet, struck the unnamed player in the chest.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, I don't know much about weapons. Biggie knows a little bit. I don't know if that would help, the fact that it's that far away. Maybe the impact is lessened on his body. But the young man did have to undergo surgery at a nearby hospital. He is in stable condition.
He's playing in the game. He's in the bullpen, and he gets shot from outside the stadium.
400 yards.
400 yards.
That's 4 football fields, you and me, Kelly.
He gets shot.
It is.
2 things to say about it. One, it triggered a memory from Chris Demm from he was watching the old Richmond Braves game. And this happened. I'll let Chris Demm tell it, but it's a great story. There was a guy in a bullpen, and this is before the game.
Yeah, we would go early, and we had read the book Ball 4 about the great relief pitcher for the Yankees. And the bullpen was where the fun stuff happened.
Right.
Jim Bouton. So we would go hang out by the bullpens. And it was early, like you said, it was maybe an hour before the first pitch. One team was taking batting practice. The other was in the outfield just kind of doing a long toss. The Braves were in the outfield. Well, somebody from the other team, maybe the Toledo Mud Hens, hit a ball that went screaming toward the Braves players. And either it hit one or almost hit one. And the Richmond Braves players turned to the Toledo Mud Hens and said, "Don't say nothing, sea sucker."
I like it. In front of the fans and the kids.
And, of course, back then, there was no hip-hop music being played over loudspeakers.
No.
This was the 70s.
No blaring hip-hop music.
Okay.
The organist hadn't arrived.
That's right. Don't say nothing, sea sucker.
Just reverberating through the old wooden placards.
I like that. Now, of course, today, and we just played this last week, that language still flies near the clubhouse of even professional major league games. We had the reporter from ESPN who was battling for an interview with Aaron Judge. She's ESPN, and ESPN has fired her. You can catch what she says, but it's hard for the kids to hear because of all the hip-hop music being played throughout the stadium.
I told them already, you're ready now.
She's saying to the other reporter, I'm interviewing Aaron Judge. Then they're arguing in Spanish.
Thank you so much, man. I'm sorry, I didn't know you speak English now. Oh, you started speaking English.
All right, now I'm going to say it to you in English. I'm so sorry. Then she thinks the reporter is out of earshot, the other one, and she calls her the effing C.
Perdona, yo tengo algo seteado con Aaron, si no te molesta. Oh, what a
So you still get that kind of language around the ballpark.
Yeah.
And, of course, the kids look up from Aaron Judge signing their jersey.
Why, Mommy? Why, Daddy?
And then when the reporter that's been called an effing C says, "What did you just say about me?" This is my favorite part of it.
Excuse me, how you call me? Excuse me, did you record that, right? What? I wasn't talking about you.
I wasn't talking about you.
Lies.
Are you crazy? So I would say the language has softened a bit to the. Really, we've got music now drowning it out.
Yeah, I guess that helps.
That's right. The second thing that this, for some reason, I just heard this stat today, and I was stunned by it. This guy gets shot out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Did they catch the guy who shot him?
Last I read, police have 2 suspects, but no one is in custody.
I'm surprised by this. There's a new stat today. We're in history. Right now, murders are being solved or cleared off the books at the lowest rate of all time. Fewer than 50% of murders are being solved now.
It's the golden age of murderers.
And I'm so surprised.
Gets to killing.
Here's why I'm so surprised by it. There's so many. Everything's on video. Everything is tracked. Your car has a black box in it. I'm just stunned.
Your phone, there's cameras on every street corner.
Your
there's
phone
DNA.
tracks where you are. We got DNA, all of those things. And yet, for the first time in history, fewer than 50% of murders are being solved. Everybody's a crime solver. I mean, Dateline is the most popular show. My wife's trying to solve murders by herself.
And people are getting away with it.
And people are getting away with it. Isn't that shocking to you?
Is it because there's not enough detectives out there? Or is it just a proliferation of people that shouldn't have guns have guns?
I wonder if it's just like a lot of crime, like street crime, gang.
Well, I mean, traditionally, right? I can't remember the numbers. Your wife, Kelly, might know better. But they used to be this staggering number of people who were murdered knew their murderer.
Exactly.
And maybe that number has dropped.
It must
It's
have.
just
Yeah, it
random,
must have.
Random crime.
like Dave was saying.
Don't you think it has
It
to be
has
that
to
way?
be.
Because otherwise, listen, every Dateline I watch, and I'll watch 1 out of every 20 because I'll just be in the room and my wife will have it on.
Yeah.
And they'll a woman is usually killed in the beginning, and my wife and I always say the same thing.
It's the ex or the
Or
husband.
the husband or the boyfriend. It's one of the three. And when it turns out not to be, that's why it's more interesting when they rule him out. You're like, oh, okay, wait a minute. What happened here?
Then who did this?
Well, and I always heard like
Crazy.
murderers were sometimes like the most normal people to talk to and deal with because it was just somebody who snapped
Right.
and had one bad moment.
But all those are solved.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're solved.
But now
I
I,
don't
think
get
it's
it.
just. I do think it's a lot more random
Street crime.
street crime.
It has to be.
Yeah.
But that was staggering to me. I would have thought the opposite. Wouldn't you? That the more
I
murders
would
are being
because
solved.
all I'm told is that every camera, every
Yeah.
corner's covered with cameras and
Yeah.
everything's on tape
Oh.
and
My professional stretch artist, Nick.
Oh, he's got the answer?
Well, no, he just was telling me a story. I was telling him about my road rage incident that happened in the lifestyle center here the other day.
That's right.
A harrowing moment for me. I was driving at 3 miles per hour.
Yes.
And it was just absolutely
Right next.
The most terrifying low-speed confrontation ever.
Old women shopping out there were out walking your car.
If you missed it, man, get it behind the paywall.
Yeah,
This was
yeah.
you don't want to miss this one. But he said, my professional stretch artist, Nick, says that he has a friend that lives in Pittsburgh, and he woke up the other morning, and the entire side of his car had been hit, like scraped all the way down the side. Mirror was missing, and there's nobody to be found. It's just like it had happened in the night, and
He's parked on the street.
he's parked on the street, and that's it. Pittsburgh. But he remembered that his neighbor had one of those doorbell cameras, and he said, do you mind if I see the footage? And it was a bread truck that had done it. And so they had a perfect view of it, and the company's logo was on the
The
side.
dude just drove off.
He just drove. He just swiped it, stopped for a second, and then drove off. They had the video. They presented it to the company. The company fired the guy, and now is paying
He
for the
collected,
car.
yeah.
So it's like, it seems like that's always happening. We're always having these stories about, it was caught because of.
Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
Surveillance cameras.
Whatever.
Apple watches.
So, yeah. So all of this, the fact that murders are being cleared at the lowest rate ever, you could have knocked me over with a feather. I was shocked by it.
No crimes in here. Studio cameras now. Look at this.
Look at this.
Everything we do.
How you going to kill me?
Everything
Every
we
move.
do.
How you going to kill me?
Barely pick your nose.
How'd
in
they go
here.
to hate me? That's right. I picked my nose last week. Megan said, get your finger out
We
your
saw
nose.
it.
Of course
We
you
all
did.
saw it.
Of course you
But
did.
we've seen it for years, so we're used to
I'm
it.
knuckle deep in this thing.
Yes, you are.
And they're always
Well, you got
saying-
things to take care
they're
of.
saying to me, I'm recording this.
You're a businessman.
That's right. Listen, I tried to put soft soap back on the shelf at Walmart. The camera backed up and caught me. A woman comes over and says, oh, you put your soft soap up. You remember that? It's all on video. I told you that.
Yeah, you got the wrong color.
I got the wrong color soft soap.
That's right.
Daddy, we're a clear family. We are not a clear family.
I got ivory white.
Mama never buys that.
Mama buys clear.
Mama wants clear.
Yes, you do.
I put it back. Whoop, sirens go on. Whoop. What happened? They
Step away from the soft soap, sir.
Yeah. They rewind the darn tape, and there I am.
There you are.
On camera, looking around, putting my big man boobs up next to the
Guilty,
camera.
shifty eyes.
Exactly. How horrible. So those are the two things I thought on that. So that poor baseball
Yeah.
pitcher gets hit by a bullet out of
I know.
nowhere. It's awful. It's awful. That's right.
Speaking of crime and speaking of the big cities, if you live or work in New York City and you're concerned about someone trying to steal your car, don't worry. The mayor has your back. Over the weekend, Mayor Eric Adams announced that New York City is going to give out 500 free Apple AirTags.
Here's another thing. The Apple AirTag. More technology.
That's right.
That way, when your car is stolen, you can track it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
Okay.
kind of assuming it's going to happen.
It's going to happen, right.
Now, the mayor did say that many other crimes in the city are on the decline, but car thefts are up 13% over this time last year. 13%, and especially in the Bronx. And this may not come as a shock to you. Mayor Adams said that one major driving factor of car thefts, I bet Biggie can guess it, it's TikTok.
Oh, they're
It's the
teaching you how
keys
to
and the
do it. They're
Hyundais.
teaching you how to do it. Right?
All you need is a USB cord.
Yeah. That's right.
Amazing.
That's right. It's easy to steal
yeah.
those, right?
And by the way, the city is not paying for the AirTags. They have been donated by the Association for a better New York, which sounds like a front.
Yeah, that's probably. Yeah, it does.
Maybe the good old mafia. I don't know.
The Association for a Better New York. Right.
Who's against that?
Right, exactly.
They do some good.
So,
But basically, if your car is stolen, you can track it and then you alert the police and say it's over there. It's in Flushing.
yeah, you can tell them where it is.
It's in Staten Island.
It's a Kia, right? Yeah, it's Kia. Yeah.
Crazy video coming out of Milwaukee yesterday of a stolen Kia that smashes into a school bus that stopped where kids are getting off.
Good Lord.
And the way it's filmed almost like it's filmed in a way that it's coming towards this car and it's filming behind.
Yeah.
So you see it happen, and then the Kia hits, and it hits the bus, keeps going, scratches all along the side of these cars, hits the one filming, and then you see the guys bail out of it. Well, of course, it was stolen. It was a stolen Kia.
Of course. Of course.
The kids aren't in the bus, Biggie?
They didn't say. I mean, they didn't report a bunch of injuries.
They would have said if they were.
Of course. There was a guy, this is similar, Providence, Rhode Island. His name is Francisco Medrano, and he was having trouble sleeping, so he decided to go get fast food early Saturday morning, and he was eating breakfast in his car, pulled into his driveway, and he was sitting there eating, and apparently thieves didn't realize, he was in a Jeep Grand Cherokee, that he was inside the car. He started feeling the car move. People were under his car trying to steal the catalytic converter.
Yeah.
And there were 4 of them, and he's like, I'm in here.
Bruh.
Come on, guys.
He started blowing the horn, and he got out of the car, and they wound up hitting him on the back of the head with a pipe.
Ooh.
And he got in a terrible fight. There were 4 of them.
Dang.
Now, they ran off. The catalytic converter was not stolen, but he tells the story here. He was talking about how he got home, started eating his biscuit, and then saw them trying to steal this.
I hear a grinding noise. I look in the passenger mirror, and I see just 2 legs under my car, and I just jumped out. And I've always wondered what would happen if I caught somebody in the act, and I guess it happened. Somebody stabbed me in the face with a Sawzall. I ended up pulling the Sawzall from the guy. Somebody in the back was hitting me with a pipe.
Sawzall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm so unmanly. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds awful. A Sawzall.
Yeah.
Sawzall.
Sawzall. And got hit in the back of the head with a pipe. And they're trying, and the guys ran off. He's described, there were 4 guys, 3 had masks on. 1 didn't. They don't know who it is.
I guess he saved his catalytic converter, but got a beating thanks to his shame eating in the driveway.
That's
Clearly,
correct.
he didn't want anyone in the house to know he was eating.
That's right. Biggie and I have been there. We could be the victims of a crime like that.
Get out of your car.
You start eating in the car, which is exactly what I do. And
What would you do, though? I mean, if you see somebody out there, do you just stay where you're at? And
I would.
Honk the horn?
How do you know?
I'd keep on eating. I mean, if I was in the car.
You're not going to get out and give me a woo, woo.
Do you fire up the car and put it in gear?
Yeah, and they're under your car. There's only one thing they want under there.
That's true.
It's not the oil.
If you,
which you have plenty of.
I have a mechanism, a self-fighting mechanism. They'd be under my
slipping around.
It's like one of those James Bond anti-car chase.
That's right.
Like
weapons.
at a pole position.
That's exactly right.
You get the
Oil slick.
That's right.
like on a banana peel.
Exactly. I would be dripping onto their face without them even knowledge.
Who'd you try to rob, Inspector Gadget?
Gotcha, didn't I, boys?
Go, Gadget, oil.
I wouldn't even know they were there. They'd go back to their gang, to their hut, and be like, I don't know how he did it.
What happened to you, Rocky?
You guys can't be in our gang.
That's how it's done. That's protection. That's protective oil.
Thanks, oil man.
You can't even walk out of the house these days. The crime is so bad.
Tell me about it.
It's terrible out there. Not solving the murders, catalytic converters, school buses, stretch artists. It's going on and on. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. All right, I'm off my side.
So they found your friends.
3 mile per hour chases in lifestyle centers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lifestyle centers. It's terrible out there.
Finally, a mom in Arizona was attacked by a swarm of bees while she and her family were taking pictures. Sunday, they were in Buckeye Valley, which I think is pretty close to Phoenix. I don't know how many people were there, but seemingly out of nowhere, a swarm of bees appeared and attacked the humans. The mom scrambled to get her 2 young children into the car, but mom could not escape the swarm. The children's grandmother called 911.
We have that call.
Please hurry. My daughter can't get in the car. She's being attacked by bees. My granddaughters are with her. Please send some help.
Okay, how many people are being attacked by bees?
I just think my daughter.
Okay, you don't think that the 2 granddaughters are as well?
I don't know. I'm trying to get back to her. She just called me. Okay, I'm trying to find her.
Okay, well, I want you to be careful as well and not get attacked also.
I am.
That's that mother's protective instinct. She
Sure.
protects her daughter.
All
Go
the
back
moms.
in.
Yeah, pretty good.
Firefighters did arrive on the scene, and there's unreal video of them using foam to try to calm down the bees and to get to the children so they can get them out of the vehicle. First responders, A, said they praised the mom's quick thinking, but B, she was stung at least 75 times.
God, took it for her kids.
She did.
Good for her. Did you hear the
That's the American way.
That's the American way. Now, the Australian way is different. We've we've played this before on a hike in Australia. Dad and teen son's friend, they come up on a hive of bees, they don't realize it. The son is stung multiple times. They're interviewed on the Australian version of the Today Show later. Gary's the dad, and they say to Gary, this must have been hard for you to watch.
No, they were just all around my face and on my lips, but yeah, I couldn't really remember.
Gary, for you to watch it must have been awful.
Yeah, it was a bit disturbing, but better him than me.
It's that protective instinct of the father.
There are dads, and there are dads.
There, it's protective instinct. And then a gentleman in Texas, I want to say, who had over 1 million bees in his kitchen.
In the walls.
And was being interviewed by local news.
So we're trying to get rid of them, but without professional help we can't. So now we almost
Right there's the moment.
Got stung, didn't you?
Right there's the
Live
moment.
TV.
That's right. I have to confess something about a bee. Saturday morning, I was playing pickleball with a group of friends, and I saw my opponent between points. This was Ron Jr., and he was waving his paddle at something like an insect crawling across the court. And I said, "Well, you trying to save something there?" He goes, "Honeybee. I want to make sure he gets across here because it's a honeybee." And he's crawling across right there in the kitchen. So he keeps trying,
There's a honeybee in the kitchen?
Honeybee in the kitchen.
Oh!
Okay, so he's down on his knee, and so he just can't move him. And the thing is it just crawled a little ways and then go in a circle. It never flew off. And he was trying to move it even with his finger. I said, "Ron, you're going to get stung now. Be careful." So he eventually he's just like, "Well, he'll be all right." The very next point, I hit a ball, landed right on him.
Oh.
Right. I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds?
Good shot.
It was a good shot. Now I have to say that. It's right in the corner.
Right in the line.
Poor bee was just like.
Well, it sounded like the bee may not have been all right.
I think not, because it would have moved on, But Ron Jr. said, "I just saved that bee, and you just carelessly, you couldn't."
Where have all the flowers gone?
Exactly.
Just said, yeah, I aimed for it.